hell for brother man. In every nation in the Caribbean, we suffering down in the Caribbean. And it's all because of stinking oppression, repressive education for a chosen few. So many brothers on the corner, cause no school to go, no work to do, crying sin kicks, they crying this in Antigua, in Dominica, oppressors, leave we alone. Oppressors, come off the bone. Colonialism went, oh that I know, but oppression never ever let we go. They granted independence few by few, but oppressors never ever left them to. With his imperialistic game plan, he monopolized the land. Now the people of the Caribbean ain't got much food, ain't got much land. He crying Binsha, Erie back in Grenada, in Jamaica, Trinidad, Guyana, oppressors, leave we alone. Oppressors, come off the bone.
Cheer the alarm, shut alarm!
The thing that hurt me most about oppression is the involvement of we politicians. You both, brother, to help fight oppression. Brother, get in there and join the bandwagon. You oppose the ruling party, you become an enemy, and you could swear to Jah Almighty. That's your destiny, your destiny. They crying NASA in Bermuda, in Aruba, Martinique, St. Lucia. Oppressors, leave we alone. Oppressors, come off the bone. Oppressors, leave we alone. Oppressors, come off the bone. Oppressors, leave we alone. Oppressors, come off the bone.
Cheer the alarm, shut alarm!
Oppressors, 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 oppressors.
Yes, serious thing there with the oppression that's taking place around the globe. In our beloved Federation of St. Kitts Nevis, was more so there in our sister island of Nevis. I'm DJ Morrishaw, and I'm coming to you from a remote location here in the Boogie Down Bronx. I apologize for the technical difficulties earlier. And you know, if I was not so busy this morning taking some good stuff, I would have realized that there's some construction taking place down the block from where we are there. And apparently someone cut our internet service there, but it did not cut completely. So you still had a little juice coming through, but not enough juice to carry the Zoom app and the feed that I need to produce this program. So it's after back and forth hustling and checking things out, speaking with my good buddy there, brother Elvan, there and everything, and we did everything that we can do to get the app working. I then went back and checked my upload and download speed and realized that I don't have the necessary speed on the internet to carry this heavy volume. So as usual, my manager here, the man, the big H, the brother Elman Harley and sister Paulette Harley, as usual, helped me out. So I'm back here at the Harley's resident broadcasting to you live. So I want to big up the Harley crew this evening and thanking them for the accommodation. I also want to thank our Honorable Prime Minister, the man, Dr. the Honorable Terrence M, for understanding these things to happen and stick around that we can have this lovely conversation that is long overdue. I hope you're hearing me, Dr. Joe. I'm ready for you when you're ready for me. And the folks online has been waiting for some months now to hear from the good up Prime Minister. So as soon as you're ready for me, Dr. Joe, I know you're online. Just tap your screen and come on there. And Honorable Prime Minister, on this side of the globe here, from the DJ Morrishaw end, we do stuff the correct way. We give respect where it's due. So before even hear a clip out of your voice, we have to do the honorable thing. So just stand by for this.
All right.
And that's our national anthem for the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. Good evening, Honorable Prime Minister, and how are you doing, sir?
Yes, good evening to you, DJ Morrishaw. I am doing well. Thank you very much. And thank you for having me today and availing yourself. As you said, we had some earlier issues with the technical part of it, but I was willing to, bear with it because these things happen. And I would really like to get the message out to our people and to allow people the opportunity to hear from me through this medium. This is a medium that I would have been involved in before the elections. And I think, now in governance, this is a medium that I thought would be, important for me to come back to and to talk to those who I spoke to even before the election. So thank you very much, and I'm doing well. And it seems like you're doing well. How are you doing?
And I'm good here. We just have some rain on this end, some rain and cold weather, you know, but outside of that, everything is good, you know. And it's funny, you know, I said in my regards, anything that can go wrong in my life will go wrong. So last night, I went ahead, I put my thing together, put my folder together, put my songs together, because I know one thing I learned about you, Dr. Joe, is the Prime Minister Joe, is that we love song, we love music. And basically similar music, the message, the messages. So I make sure I put my music folder together, check the internet, check the app, everything was running at 100%. Right. And I'm just there waiting for the time. I sent you a message. I told you we have the 1 hour countdown going on, and boom, I tried to go live and all hell break loose. But again, like I said, thanks for hanging on, because we have thousands of folks online waiting to see their good Prime Minister. And like you said, the last time you were here, you was a candidate for the leadership of the Labour Party. Yes. And there was a lot of talk about you not being able to win your seat, never mind want to lead a party. With Dr. Joe, we talk about shattered glass ceiling. So I want you to give the people a synopsis of the struggle from your end, because not only you was able to win the leadership of the Labour Party, you went on to win your seat in number 8, and now is our 4th Prime Minister of the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. So I know the people online will be happy to hear about your journey.
Yes, thank you very much again. Well, as you know, I started my political journey, active political life in elective politics in 2013. At that time, I had completed my residency and had returned home and had become a candidate of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party. I had about a year and a half or so, just about until the elections. And in that election, you know, I was not successful. I look for no excuses at all. I always feel that there's always an opportunity to go back to the people and to convince the people that selecting you would be the best option or the better option. And so I didn't take anything personal. I ran the race. I got the results, you know, under some circumstances where the party had been divided, as 2 had left, and also the time that I had on the ground, and you know that we had issues with you know, voters coming in from overseas. So there were a lot of factors that entered into that. And so I said, well, my strategy has to be different. It has to be a strategy that can mitigate against all of these things. As you said, if something can go wrong, it can go wrong. That is Murphy's Law. And so things at that time, so many things worked against me. And I took nothing personal at all. Not even persons who would have voted against me, I developed any type of bad feeling towards them. I just looked at it as I need to recalibrate and see how I can reach the people, because I did not reach them the first time. So no excuses at all. I hit back the trail the very next day, thanking the people who would have voted for me and thanking those who didn't vote for me for participating in the electoral process and, you know, democracy and so forth, that I think was important, and to say to them thanks. And from that day, I hit back the road, continue to engage people, meet with people, and selling the message. And then the elections came in 2020, and an unexpected thing happened again. We had a pandemic, COVID-19, and as a result of that and how it was used by the former administration to make sure that we could not canvass or carry out a political campaign, they used it against us. And that, of course, was an occurrence in every 100 years. And then again, if it could have gone wrong, it went wrong. Again, I would have done my work and say, okay, what we can do here. I sought to take the government to court. They had strong evidence. As you know, there was an error made, but not to blame anybody. There had been a recent change in the law that was not recognized. And so I had to withdraw my case then. And then I entered another case. And as you know, at that point, the DPP at that point refused to allow the case to be heard. Again, I took nothing personal. I said, well, let me go back to the people again. And I went back to the people and said, look, this is what I want to offer to you. This is what my candidacy will bring. And then then in our party, there was a change, an opportunity for leadership. Of course, I would have vied for that, and I was elected as the leader of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party. And then shortly after that, that was in November 2021, and then shortly after that, we had elections the very next year. And so becoming leader of the party and then preparing the party for an election, a general election, which you had a very short time to actually adjust to the position, a very short time to really get the party ready. But because I'd been in the party for some time and had been chairman of the party, I paid very close attention to how the party is run, to how politics is practiced and so forth. And I started to move. Of course, I couldn't have done this alone. I had an excellent team with me. And so we went to work and made sure that we put everything in place to give us a victory. And so we shifted how campaigns run. If you look at our campaign had a lot of innovation in it. And that was the newness that we were bringing forward, of course. And so the people saw our platform, they see our plans and ideas, and the people, supported those ideas. And they supported those ideas not just by word of mouth, but they supported those ideas with their votes. Of course, we did not have a pandemic, because I said early, a pandemic issue. I said under no circumstances is anybody going to curtail us from campaigning. So that was something that I said, and it was not going to happen. Secondly, we were able, persons who wanted to vote for the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party and were living in diaspora, they were able to come home. And so once we removed those barriers that had affected us in the previous two elections, we saw that the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party won that election with me being leader, and of course, then becoming the fourth Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis. And I think there are a lot of lessons to be learned in that. I think, there are always opportunities to get it right. Take nothing personal. Always seek to change strategy if you have to, change direction if you have to. Be humble enough to accept that those things are necessary at times. And always remember that it's better to work with a team than to work by yourself, because togetherness means strength. And when you work as an individual, of course, you can be easily derailed. And so I would say over that time that the members of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party, the supporters of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party, and the citizenry in general, that they would have, expressed their confidence in us to really deliver for them. So here we are, the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party back in government after 7 years with new leadership and with an excellent team that is really pushing the government and the country forward. So that has been the journey. And if you look at the journey, it's almost a decade, and there are a lot of things that happened during that time. But I'm an optimistic person, and I look at the positive side of things, and where things may have gone off course, I look at the lessons that are to be learned, and to really learn them and implement what is necessary to make sure that there is a change and you get the result that you are seeking.
Dr. Joe, as you know, I knew of you, but I did not know you. And during the leadership campaign for the Labour Party, I had to do my due diligence and look into what the people was asking for.
Yes.
And once I did that and realized that the masses was saying that you is the person to bring about a change of government under your leadership, I get a lot of blows for that. As a matter of fact, I can recall a nomination day. When I look at the way you and your team was treated when you went for nomination, I said to myself, if this is what going to be happening on the nomination day, I could only imagine what the problems are going to be on election day, because everything was against us. Everything was against you.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got home that afternoon, I heard a similar occurrence took place in number 3 with Conway's over there. But the people have spoken. And
Yes.
I am happy that you brought out the court matter that you filed and had to withdraw, because I'm trying to speak to the people of Nevis and try to make them understand that the Prime Minister, from what I know, and from his speeches, and from what he has said to me, is the Prime Minister for all. He's not here to take sides with neither NRP, PAM, CCM, PLP, whatever. He is the Prime Minister for all. And if there's something that went wrong, and it can't be if, you know, Mr. PM. We're going to get into it in a bit. It's not if. I witnessed the irregularities under the federal elections, and I witnessed it under the Nevis Island elections. And I know that you fought for democracy, and I honestly believe within your heart, you will fight for democracy for all, not for no particular political party. And even the Labour Party, I know you're going to make sure the Labour Party walk the straight and narrow. You understand?
Right. So I agree. I respect the courts. Even when I was in a difficult position, I respect the courts, and I withdrew my own case because of the circumstances. I would say, however, that we are striving more and more to establish a proper democracy. We have introduced good governance laws, the very laws on which the previous government ran on in 2015, that they did not bring any teeth to them. We have done that in just mere 6 months. So good governance laws have been passed, and that's what we did in our last, well, the previous sitting of Parliament, not the penultimate one. And so we are really putting action to our words. Remember, we had introduced those in the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party. And so we have now done it. So the very good governance laws that was being used for political gain had not been given any teeth by the previous government. And we have done that in just a mere 6 months. The other aspect, and therefore we are showing, the other aspect is that we are bringing in an ombudsman as well to make sure that people's issues can be heard. That is part of good governance. And so we believe in democracy, we believe in good governance, and we are not just saying that. We are putting laws in place, and these are tough laws. And I know that previously the political will may not have been there to implement them in the last 7 years for various reasons. And we see some of the reasons why persons would not have wanted these laws to come into effect. However, we have managed to pass those laws as we had promised. And so the actions of passing these tough laws that will govern the Federation is really demonstrating that we are serious about democracy, we are serious about good governance, and we are serious about people feeling confident in the system that they have. Is it perfect? No. But I think that goodwill is shown when laws and things are done to ensure that democracy is preserved. And that is what I would say basically on that. I respect the court system. Even when I was there, I respected it and encouraged others to respect it, because the rule of law that I've always spoken about is fundamental to preserving a democracy. And I think that persons have the right to go to court, they have the right to have their voices be heard, they have the right to go to the full extent of the law. And so I wouldn't tell people that they should not use the levers that they can use because this is a democratic country, they have the right to do so. And so I support every person who wants to pursue that path. But I'm saying from our perspective, we are making sure that the laws are in place to protect the democracy, protect our people, and laws are in place to ensure that we really govern as we should with these good governance laws. So I'm proud of what we have done thus far with respect to that.
Great. Mr. PM, I know we're not going to have a chance to get into everything this afternoon, but we're going to try hit a couple of areas at least. You could come again and we could follow up. But yes, while we're on that topic, something that I realized during the federal elections, and again, like I said, whatever happened in the last 7 years, it affected both islands. And I listened to you and the AG and everyone else make their presentation during the last budget debate in Parliament in December. And it was a pleasure for me to sit there in Parliament. It's my first time I was ever invited, even knew that I can sit in Parliament. I didn't even know all these years. I could have gone and sit in Parliament and listen in the gallery. So I learned something new under your leadership. And I want to thank Honorable Marsha Henderson for inviting me. But there's some stuff that came out in those debates, and it's still affecting us today. And I know with what's going on right now, I'm hearing everybody on this thing about the Haitians that was caught a couple weeks ago and whatever case is going on for asylum. Mr. PM, you are the man elected to run the country, but all of us have an opinion. And like I said to every guest that come here, when we speak on a topic, if it's too sensitive for you as the Prime Minister, you just move on. But I have to at least give you my opinion and the people's opinion. Because folks online sending messages, and you will hear some of them. Now, under the previous administration, the Team Unity concussion, I heard of many foreigners, whether Haitian, Dominican, or whoever, that entered the country illegally, even during the election period. Some was deported, some was not for whatever reason. But I am also aware of individuals that was encouraged to come into the country, or even paid to come into the country, get fake marriages, get fake passport, get fake ID. When I say fake, they're valid stuff, but they was not entitled to them when I use the word fake. And many of those people voted in our federal election of August 5th. And I want to believe that some of those people again voted in Nevis on the 12th of December, 2022. And I know that you said, Mr. PM, that there are some investigations going on. Could you give an update on where we are with those stuff?
Right. So I'll start from where you end. With respect to the investigation is going on. I would not speak directly to it to prejudice anything, as you would accept, but they are ongoing. What we have uncovered is that we have a lot of files. They're talking hundreds and maybe can extend into a few thousands of marriages that are very, very questionable. And we have uncovered a number of them thus far, which I've spoken about. It's very, very troubling that, you know, this institution, for many persons, this is a holy institution, an institution established by God. And that institution was nefariously misused for persons to get citizenship or access to our citizenship, which is the highest order in our country. And in addition to that, they then would get a voter's ID, and they would then be placed on the voters list. And this was a strategy used to really usurp our democracy and to abuse our system that allow for citizenship and to abuse the holiness of marriage. And so this type of thing we are investigating, and it's very sad to see what would have taken place. Our country was being misused and abused and was going down the tube. We are a small population, and can you imagine how that was being used? Also, we uncovered that there was a ring where, you know, visas were being issued to the point where people were selling visas at very high cost in some countries so that people can access St. Kitts and Nevis. We are a country where we welcome immigrants. We have always, the St. Kitts and Nevis Labour Party has always welcomed immigrants. We are not anti-immigrant. As you know, Paul Southwell, national hero, is from Dominica. And as we know, Fitzroy Bryant, he was from Antigua. And I'm saying this to say that we have always been an open party and a party favorable to immigration. However, we believe, like any other country, any other sovereign country, that the laws must be respected. You have to protect your country. Laws, if any country you go to that is a country that is worth it, have laws, has laws in place to protect that country. And so our laws were violated, and we had to put a stop to that with respect to fake marriages and visas and so forth. And as we investigated, we are uncovering more and more of these things that are taking place. With respect to Haiti, I want to say that that is a country where our brothers and sisters live. I have a very positive view of that country. That country has been suffering since it sought independence, I think, in the 18th century, very early, when our brothers and sisters rose up against the masters and took matters into their own hand. We met in CARICOM recently, and we came up with a plan. We had put out a statement where we are going to start to work with others to strengthen the security issue in Haiti so that Haiti can be a place where the citizens can live. However, there has been movement, and we know, to the Bahamas specifically and other countries. What has happened here is that, you know, a boat, we have encountered boats, maybe where the boat's engine might have, you know, malfunction, and you find people drifting. We can't let people die because they were not heading to St. Kitts. We can't let them die. These are our brothers and sisters. So I want people to know that they were intercepted because we had to save them, save their lives because of engine trouble on the boats that they were traveling. You had persons on there who were pregnant and children, and we have to make sure we have to take care of them. And we have taken very good care of them. It costs in the country thousands upon thousands of dollars just to host them. So all this talk about the case and so forth, we are the one bearing the cost to host them. We have made sure that we have created an opportunity for them to live at least in an acceptable area. We have also made sure that they can get at least 3 good meals per day. We have also provided medical care. And I was just told one of them is pregnant. We have to make sure that she gets the proper checks. She gets to see the gynecologist. They have to be treated. My administration will treat them with dignity and respect. These are our brothers and sisters. However, again, we have laws, but in the first place, we have to save their lives. We have laws and we have to respect our laws. And therefore, that is what we are doing. Because we respect our laws doesn't mean that we should be inhumane. So while we do that, we are respecting our laws. There had been an injunction put on in the return of the nationals. We respected the court and I respect the rule of law. The judge said, no, you can't keep this injunction on. It has to be discharged and allow everything to be heard. So we are not going to violate any type of laws, but we will not participate in international human trafficking. I want people to know that thousands upon thousands of dollars are paid to these boat owners and captains to traffic people. And St. Kitts and Nevis, we have signed on that we will not participate in this, and therefore we will not participate in human trafficking. So we have to respect our laws, have to respect international laws, and at the same time, treat our brothers and sisters from Haiti with the utmost respect that they deserve as our brothers and sisters and as human beings. And our party is a party that is premised on the good that we can do. We are a party that believes in humanity and the humane treatment of all members of the human family. And we are, of course, following that path. So the court will have to go through its process, and we will respect the laws, but at the same time, we will remain humane in all that we do.
Thanks for that response, Mr. PM. Like I said, there's a couple of stuff we're going to run through real quick. So let's jump to the next big thing, because I love our kids. Our kids are our future. Remember the Labour Party and most of your campaign, and many kids just die because of not having the necessary finances to take care of simple treatment. I understand that since the Labour Party took office, there has been some funds put in place and some kids have benefited from that. Could you speak to that regard?
Right. So what has happened over the years is that when I was a medical doctor, I came to recognize that there were children who had life-threatening illnesses, but a lot of them could be saved if given the right treatment. And you'll see GoFundMe page, a GoFundMe page, and the child lives is hanging in a balance whether they can raise enough money or not. And PALS, which is a group here that supports children, I want to really give them a shout out and thank them for all the work that they had been doing. But we had taken the decision that no child should depend on a sponsor sheet or GoFundMe page to determine if they live or die, especially when they had a curable disease. And we put that fund in place, and children are benefiting from it. Presently, there are 2 children with heart disease from malformations, meaning that they have congenital heart disease. They were born with the heart problems. These 2 patients have correctable heart disease, and therefore what we have done is we have sent them to Cayman. Of course, we are paying for it. We are joining with PALS as well, so that they can have the heart surgeries, and I expect them to do well, and I look forward for them and their family coming back. But no child in St. Kitts and Nevis will face death because their parents lack resources or their parents can't afford it. And therefore, I will make sure that we do have what we have to do to protect the children as much as possible.
Great. While we're in the healthcare system, Mr. PM, I want to touch the hospital situation. There's a couple of things there that I understand, and still some of things I don't understand in regards to how people memory are so short. Basically, not too long ago, during the 2022 political campaign, we see some billboards around the country for the Bastia High School, for the hospital, the new hospital, and solar farm and other things. Now, that was a campaign for the former administration. They were supported by some of these folks now who is on social media, hitting you for standing by an area where you're saying the proposed new site for hospital. They are now telling possible site for hospital. Now, what the point I'm trying to get at?
Yes.
All of a sudden, they are saying, these people are saying that there's no need for a new hospital. You and I know this is not so. So I want to hear your view on this double standard, because that was their campaign. They building a new Bastia High School, new solar plant, new prison, new hospital. That was their campaign. But now the Labour Party won, and if my recollection serves me right, these hospitals we have currently was built under the Labour Party, the Labour administration.
Correct.
And here is it now. The Labour administration is moving forward in making sure we get a state-of-the-art hospital, and you have been pounded for that. So what's your response to these pundits?
Well, I would say that I'm very shocked that I'm pounded to bring a new hospital. We need a smart hospital. We don't even have a choice, DJ Morrishaw. We know about climate change, the critical areas when it comes to climate change. We can be affected by stronger hurricanes, one, and secondly, by the insidious changes of the increase in the temperature. Our infrastructure was not built to really deal with this type of climate change. So if people look at the infrastructure and think it's a need, you might see it breaking down in different ways. And part of the reason is the climate change that's affecting us. Our hospital has many issues, leaky roofs that have been attempted on multiple times to stop. The sewage plant is not working. The hospital is not really built to deal with the climate changes and strong hurricanes. And so part of the plan is to have what you call a smart hospital, a climate smart hospital. If we are hit by stronger hurricanes or just the insidious changes of climate change, one of the institution that must be left standing will have to be a hospital. When we look, for example, this week we had meetings with PAHO, the Pan American Health, and that regional organization is basically saying that we need smart hospitals, climate smart hospitals, technologically smart hospital. The hospital really is not in a condition to deal with modern healthcare and to deal with the climate changes that are taking place. So we have no choice. And therefore, I knowing that, and we have the data, and being supported by regional health organizations, we have to move forward. As a matter of fact, the last administration in the campaign had outside the hospital a billboard that said new hospital coming. Can you imagine that? The campaign on that too, after we had started to campaign on that. And so obviously you can see where it's not making sense anymore, but we will move forward with that. We have a proposed site. We looked at other sites. Of course, this site can give us up to 50 acres, a significant amount of land, and will give us the opportunity to build a modern climate smart hospital, which we are moving to. So we just not only want to build a brand new hospital, we also want to improve the services and the structures. We are already working on the improvement of healthcare delivery. I know there have been much chatter in the social media with respect to that, but we know that this has been going on for years. And I have taken it as the Prime Minister and as a medical doctor to help to push forward and to make sure that we get the modernization of our healthcare sector. And we are moving quickly along that line, and therefore we will get the changes that we seek, and we will be able to upgrade our healthcare system, not just a new building and equipment, but also in terms of our structures and the quality of healthcare delivery. So we are creating a universal healthcare system, DJ. And so what we want to do also is national health insurance. PAHO, the Pan American, which is our regional body from the World Health, that body is on board with us with national health insurance. We had a forum this week, and we are moving along with that. Because we have to modernize healthcare and upgrade it. Our people deserve it. And especially the people who don't have means, who don't have money, they need it more because they can't travel overseas as others who might have access to financial resources to get treatment. And therefore, we have to create a system where here in St. Kitts and Nevis, our people can be treated in a good institution and receive quality healthcare. And that is why we are pushing fervently ahead in making sure that we complete that hospital in this term and to make sure that we upgrade the quality of services that would be offered in this term as well. But we're not waiting until the new hospital to upgrade the quality of services. We are making some changes. Some changes, of course, would bring, when changes come, something that can cause some effect, but we are making sure that we listen to those on the ground, listen to the nurses, listen to the doctors, listen to those involved, the community, as we move through these changes to ensure that our healthcare delivery is of good quality for our people. So that is where we're at, and we're definitely going to move. The Bass Day High School has also started. As you know, $14 million was already spent on the Bass Day High School and nothing to show for it. Can you imagine that? As we said, $40 million to manage dirt. That $40 million could have gone into constructing the Bass Day High School. Instead, that has been a significant loss, and we now have to find new monies to build the Bass Day High School. And the campaign on the Bass Day High School since 2015, that again was a fast. The new hospital that they spoke of, that also was a fast. And so they are being exposed now that we have come in to show that there was no real seriousness in making sure that these very vital institutions were constructed and built and improved upon and so forth. Why we say that? $14 million, nothing to show. Why we say that? A big billboard to say new hospital coming soon, because we were campaigning on it for years. And as soon as the elections were over in 2020, they took down the billboard. But we have to move forward, because at the end of the day, we have to make sure that our people are taken care of, and especially those who really need the help of the government, who don't have those financial means, so that they can have a fair chance, an equitable chance to survive, and to survive well in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Another thing, Dr. Joe, Honorable Prime Minister.
Yes.
I heard the fake news and the fake pages talking about you are a doctor, and since you became Prime Minister for some 7 years, you have not met with the staff at the healthcare system at JNF and all this stuff. I know that's not true. And I mean, I know, but the general public and the outside of the diaspora do not know this. So this is your opportunity to respond to the pundits out there.
Right. So I had met with just like I met with all of them, the police and so forth, I had also met with the healthcare workers very early at the hospital. It could have been in August or early September, but I really believe it would have been August. I did not put out to advertise it. I also met with the leadership in the hospital. I also met with the leadership in the community, and I have met with the health leadership multiple times. This last meeting, I put out the pictures because it seems like, and people can be right if they don't see it, they may not know, but I have met with them on multiple occasions. These are people who are trying, of course, to create some sort of story that is not real. And that is why you call them fake pages, because they give fake news. But the truth is, I had met, and I will continue to meet with them, and I will continue to visit them, because we have to get it right. But I'm happy to relate that we have a new set of doctors who have come into the system. We needed more doctors to stabilize the system, and people would see that immediate improvement. I've also met with the nurses, and we are putting structures in place to make sure that we improve the quality of delivery of healthcare. And I want to thank all the health workers, nurses, doctors who have been working very hard in their own right to put forward a healthcare system for our people. Let me say, just recently came out of Parliament, and an issue that was affecting nurses was how often they had to re-register. And that had been on the books for years. And in just short 6 months, we were able to change it from annually to every 2 years. And that, of course, was a significant issue that the nurses were asking about. There are more issues that we're working through. There will be more issues, but I want to say that we are actively working on them. We have procured the MRI, we're waiting on that. When we got there were no equipment to operate on the eye. They couldn't do certain surgeries. The microscope for that was not there. The scan for that was not there. We immediately bought them. We have now received the scan, but we're waiting on the microscope, which should be here as well. We have already procured that. There had been a delay in it, but we are seeking to get it so that we can resume surgeries at the eye clinic at JNF. We have also went into dialysis, and we have done some work there to improve it. We know we have some more work to do, and we are procuring new dialysis machines so that all people can be treated. The other thing is, there is a procedure where you create what you call a fistula, where you access you do access in the arm. And in St. Kitts and Nevis, we were having some issues with that, and a number of patients had to go for life-saving surgery. Even we did not have a fund for them as we had for children, which is obvious. We still reached out and helped them. Otherwise, if they don't get that type of treatment of their access for dialysis, they can die. And so we have done a lot. We have gone to the oncology. We have improved that as well. We have gone to the blood bank. We have improved that as well. We have sought to put doctors in POXN, and we want to keep it constant. We want to make sure that JNF has enough doctors, and we are now moving on specialists. Already, we are going to bring in a neurologist and 2 internists, so we can have asthma clinic, neurology clinics. These will be new services being offered, and so that persons with lung disease can be treated somewhat better. Persons with strokes, headaches, seizures, and so forth can be treated better. These are services not being offered here in St. Kitts and Nevis, and we are going to have those services very soon. I would say within the next month to 6 weeks. So we're going to see significant improvement in the healthcare sector here. We are working on it. There has been a few issues which we are dealing with, but I want the people to be confident that we are moving steady along. So iClinic will have its equipment. The MRI will be here with us. We'll have more specialists to help us here, and we'll also have more doctors available in the A&E and in the outside, especially at POXN, to help to deliver healthcare for our people. And I want to thank all of our healthcare workers once again, from the maid to the cleaners, all the way up to the doctors, the nurses, their light services such as x-rays. And I want to add, DJ, that we have also started training for the EMS, the EMTs, so that the EMTs can actually work up to paramedic. And they have started their training, and their training will continue as we speak. So we want to, within the next 6 months, have them properly trained, those who need to get up to at least grade 1 and get some up to grade 2 in their training. And so I am very pleased with where that is headed. So we are going to touch on the EMS, we're going to touch the nurses, we're going to touch the doctors, and we are going to even touch those allied services such as the phlebotomists and the lab technicians, the x-ray, physiotherapy, and so forth. And along with that, we are going to be making some changes at Cardim Home as well. But of course, as I've said, we want to sit with those who are involved so that all of us together can work together to come up with a plan that will work for healthcare. But I'm very optimistic about where we're heading with the healthcare situation at this point in time. And so there's a lot of chatter around about this and that, but we will improve the services and we will build a new hospital as well.
You know, Mr. Prime Minister, there's many comments online. I'm going to get back to them in a bit, but they're rushing me. They're telling me, read the things. But I want to get in some important things there, because I know we don't have much time. And I know,
right, because I gave you some extra time.
Yeah, you could come again at some point. But one other thing I would like to say to you, folks saying that I am dangerous in my position as a journalist or a reporter or a campaigner, whatever they want to call me. They say I'm dangerous. But Dr. Julia was that mean. Yeah. I observed something at the last parliament sitting there. Yeah. And when you brought in those nurses and midwives to face the former ministers from the former administration, that is wicked, you know. You put the noose around these guys' necks because they had to stand there, sit there and watch these nurses that they did wrong to. But what was funny to me, some people are going to class, you know, because they had enough to get up talking on the topic. They had 7 years to do that, you know. The Labour administration took care of this in 7 months. So what they should have done is just sit there quiet and support it, because they did not do it. So you brought the bait, and like any other raving fish, they bite the bait and they stand up and run them out and waste time all day. But honestly, Honorable Dr. Joe, you have done a great deal of work in a very short period. And I know it's not easy sitting in cabinet, because you have how much ever people in cabinet. I'm pretty sure there are other ministers that want to go a different direction. They have their own constituencies and their ministries that they want to get things done. And I too had my views of certain things, but I see things falling in place. Yes. So I have patience. I said to folks, man, let's wait until August 6th or August 8th and see what happened between now and then, because I know a lot more things going to happen. Yes, a lot have happened in 7 months, and a lot more will happen. But since these folks, they're rushing me, these Nevis folks, they're rushing me here. Let me touch Nevis a bit. But before I touch Nevis, let me go back to the hospital. I know I hear about sustainability and all this stuff and they talk about sports tourism over the years and whatever. Have you ever thought or heard of health tourism?
Of course. And actually, that's a very, very good question. And I can expound a little bit more on that. Actually, we have been approached by maybe 1 or 2 neighboring countries about what services we can offer. That's one. Secondly, we want to boost our private health offerings so that people can travel from the United States and come to St. Kitts and Nevis to have procedures done. That is why also having a state-of-the-art hospital will help in the sense that people would have confidence to know if I go for a procedure and something happens, I have a hospital right there that can take care of me. And so that will help health tourism. But even outside of that, even if people are not coming for procedures and support, a lot of the times before people travel, they ask, what type of health system do you have? There are people who would avoid St. Kitts and Nevis because they would say, okay, you don't offer this service or that service. And therefore, if something happens to me or my family while we are there, we are at great danger, at risk of possibly dying. And therefore, that would help to boost our country's image and its attractiveness. And so this is a holistic approach that we have to take care of. But our people should have access to good quality modern healthcare. That is not questionable. Our people deserve that.
Yeah. 2 things I experienced recently, why that thought came to my mind, and I'm saying that this new hospital that is being built need to be built for more than just the people of St. Kitts Nevis, the neighboring islands, and internationally folks who can come home. Because just last Sunday, I have a cousin that is a captain. He operates power boats. He does boat racing and does poker run and this stuff. And last Sunday, in Tortola area, one of his boat flips fell on him, damaged his limbs and everything. And he had to be flew from Tortola to St. Thomas and via helicopter, the med helicopter, and had to be flown to Florida right away to be operated upon in order to save his limbs. And I'm saying, look at how far Florida is to St. Kitts. Imagine if we had that facility here in St. Kitts. And I must report to the online viewers that he did his last surgery yesterday on his hands and legs for the first couple of surgeries, and we're still okay. We're just hoping that he'll be able to walk again, because this is a young man still. But another experience I've had in the last couple of weeks is a family member of mine who is now in need of health care, had to do some blood work, and I've been waiting for some weeks for the result. And I was informed 2 weeks ago that some of the blood work, the results have not been back because the labs have to be sent to Barbados. No, this was shocking to me. I did not know we have this issue in St. Kitts, that things have to be sent overseas.
Right, so what happens, there's some specific lab tests that what we do, we unite as a Caribbean to do them, to have a center where those can be sent, because based on your lab tests and how often you do a particular test, it would cost the country a lot of money and not be feasible sometimes to have it. We do that with medication. We pool together to buy medication to help with costs. We pool together with lab tests to help with costs. Just recently, we have been certified to do PCR here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And so some of those services would also be expanded. And the truth is, once they get there, they should be done almost as quickly, but it depends on the type of test. And sometimes they have to go further afield, because if there's a specific type of test that only very, very few are done in St. Kitts and Nevis, sometimes you buy the reagent and the reagent spoil before you even can do a particular test. So I suspect it is that. And that is where we pool our resources to get it done. But there's a mechanism to get it done faster, or ask for the result. But I can't comment on it unless I know what the type of test is and how far it had to go, based on how complicated or sophisticated it is, one. And secondly, we might be a test that we don't do much, and we can't even store the reagent because you just can't have it there and it's spoiled and cannot be used because we don't do that test much. So it's possible one of those issues around it, but I would say we have, of course, what is required in terms of testing, and we are now moving to have our lab accredited. We are going to try to quickly accredit 2 areas, to get accredited 2 areas in the hospital, and one of them is expected to be the lab. So we're going to be moving on that even this year. So that can be accredited even before the hospital is accredited. So we still have those, and our small size affect us. In the United States, there are small hospitals and they can't do certain things and they send them out to the larger hospitals. You are referred. And here in the Caribbean, we're a very small country of 50,000, and there are some services we just would not be able to offer just because of our very, very small, relatively small size. And so we would pool things in the Caribbean so that we can deal with cost and so forth, so that it can be at least somewhat affordable for us as countries and as individuals and so forth. So it could have been one of those.
Okay, there are several questions coming out of St. Kitts and Nevis, but I'm going to give Nevis a shot. But before I even ask the questions, one of the questions from the Nivision crew, yes. There has been some chatter that since you became Prime Minister, you have not been to Nevis. Would you like to respond to that?
I have been to Nevis multiple times. And again, I went to Nevis with the opening of Parliament. I took my cabinet for the opening of Parliament. I was in Nevis just recently when, of course, El Comido Willett was being honored for 50 years, and I want to really congratulate him. As you know, I had selected El Comido Willett to be honored in St. Kitts as my choice as the Prime Minister of somebody who should be recognized for Men's Day. And people asked why you didn't choose a Kittitian. I said, El Comido Willett is a Kittitian division. This is the Federation. I'm the Prime Minister of the Federation, and I should look at divisions to be honored. And I nominated him to be my honoree. And so his daughter came because he was off island at that particular time. I'm there multiple occasions. And so therefore, at those high level instances, I'm there. So it is very questionable when people would even question things that can be easily dispelled about my visiting Nevis and so forth. So I have been there multiple occasions, especially for the critical one, which was the opening of the Nevis Island Assembly, which I took my cabinet with me, not just me alone, but I think it was important to show solidarity. And we are doing a number of critical things with Nevis, because I think Nevis and St. Kitts, as I've said, I would work to make sure that somebody in Nevis is not disadvantaged. When we did the college, and we said the college has tuition free, remember, our students no longer have to pay for college. I want you to know that divisions who come to the college, they don't have to pay either. And if they're paying, I mean, those who are not in a special program like nursing or teaching, where they have a different arrangement, I'm talking about the general college, that they benefit from that as well. As a matter of fact, one of the patients who went to Cayman to be operated on for the heart actually came over from Nevis and was looked after. Whatever takes place at the dialysis, the Nevisians benefit from that as well. They'll benefit from the MRI as well. So I am making sure, and we are doing the laptop program, as you know. We just received them from the Republic of Taiwan, from the Republic of China, Taiwan, and Nevis has gotten its share of devices, and we have gotten our share, and more devices are to come, and Nevis will get its share, and we will have our share as well. We are also joining Nevis when it comes to the geothermal. As you know, as the Prime Minister of the Federation, I had to agree that the Federation would deal with the geothermal, and I signed off on it without even thinking twice. The CDB has put up $16.5 million US, and now we have put out RFPs to get more investors so that we can harness the energy from Nevis so that they can serve both St. Kitts and Nevis. That's the agreement. So we have done that. So we are actually working together as much, working together so that St. Kitts benefits, Nevis benefits. We are a federation and we have to work together as a federation. It will serve all of our people much better. So I've reached out to Nevis. I've done whatever I've done across the federation. Nevis has to benefit, of course. They are members of the federation, and I respect them as that, and I'm their Prime Minister as well. And so we have done those significant things that have also benefited the people of Nevis.
Well, I think I know what will satisfy the people of Nevis, Mr. PM. I don't think you ever been to Carbo's restaurant. His delights have some lovely goat water and fish and green bananas.
Oh, he got fish. I don't eat meat, right? I don't eat chicken.
Okay, good. When he got,
you say he has fish.
He has some lovely fish and bananas.
So when I go over there again, I definitely have
you got to ask someone to take you to Carbo's place, because if you have not been to Carbo's place, you have not been to Nevis. As a matter of fact, I will send Carbo's number to you so that when you when I run over there, you give him a shout, he'll have your fish ready. When we go there, the fish is coming straight out of the stove. So you get
No
paid.
problem.
You just let him know how many people you bring in,
And we
DJ
good here.
and you're good. DJ Morrishaw will take that, right? And once you get my carbo,
I look forward to that. I look forward to that.
Nobody could tell you you haven't been to Nevis again after that, right?
Yes. So yes.
No, and the Nevis thing still. No, there's someone here that is saying we need the electoral office in Nevis clean up. There should be not just CCM supporters alone occupied and run the office. Otherwise, we will never have fair elections in Nevis. Before you even answer that question, if you're going to touch it, Mr. PM, I have said time and time again, I can recall as young as I am, under the previous Labour administration, there was proposed to set up a federal office in Nevis to deal with many situations, including these, and the divisions, the politicians object to it. That's one question. I'm going to give you another one, and then you could deal with both of them, because the divisions, I have thousands of them, even though the markup fella said nobody know me in Nevis. I have thousands of them that listen to me, and they send me their questions weekly. So there's another question here. Imagine, no, a statement actually. You know, there's a move for the government to name Brother El Camino Willett as a national hero. Someone put here, imagine Southwell receive honors in our country, and our son of the soil, El Camino Willett, cannot get these decisions. Now, these folks have to understand, like I told them before, they have to, things happens in time. You're just there for 7 months. And everything that's gonna happen in 7 months are in 1 year. But like my good friend, Mr. Daly, tell me, Mr. PM, you got to take this as a credit. When people are criticizing you out of Nevis, don't take it as person are they harassing you. What my good friend Kelvin Daly said to me on a program a couple of weeks back, under the previous administration, they never make noise protests because they never expect nothing to get done. They're speaking up now because they have confidence in you that something will get done.
So as I said, DJ, when I had the opportunity to name somebody for Men's Day, the first name that came to me was El Camino Willett. So I think that is clear as to where I stand with respect to the visions, of course, being recognized. And not only that, I think at the event I spoke, and I don't know if that person had the opportunity to listen to me. So I think my record in this short 6 months, 7 months has shown where I stand when it comes to these things. And so I have no qualm with that at all. I think, as I said, El Camino Willett has done significant work, and I had the opportunity to recognize him, and I'm happy that I was able to recognize him. And so my record would speak for itself, And as I said, when I spoke at that event, El Camino did not only inspire divisions, he inspired petitions as well. And there were a number of petitions in the audience honoring him. You know, people like Victor Eddy and so forth were there to really honor El Camino. And I took the boat. I said, I have to be here. And I came back home very late on the boat. But nonetheless, I think that was a significant event. And also, Dame Salaliba, Governor General, also took the boat to go over to honor El Camino Willett. And so he has strong support from myself as the Prime Minister and strong support from the Dame herself, the Governor General. And we are not only saying that, but we have demonstrated that with our actions as well. And let me just reiterate, he could not make it to receive his honor from me for Men's Day as a great man of our federation. And so his daughter came and she received it on his behalf. And so the record would show, and I reiterate it again, that I've been very progressive, very positive when it comes to make sure that Nevisions get what they deserve. And that is why these federal plans being put in place, that our people in Nevis will benefit as well. We have to work together as a federation. It only makes sense. And so people can expect me to continuously engage Nevis very, very positively. Let me say something with respect to any changes that are to be made. I'm discussing now that a committee be put together to look at our constitution. I've discussed this with the Premier and other parties in Nevis, other persons in Nevis, and we'll discuss it more so that we can put together a committee to look at the constitution, committee to look at the relationship between St. Kitts and Nevis so that we can better it. And I intend to put that committee in place this year. This year, in the short first year, that should be put in place so that we can do it in a very proper way so that it's transparent and open and our people can have, of course, their input with respect to it. And that is my attitude towards all of this, DJ.
I appreciate your response, Honorable Prime Minister. I'm going to give you two more small questions from Nevis, and we're going to come back to the unfinished business of
let me say something. Remember, I have limited time.
Yeah. This is going to finish quick. We're going to finish quick.
So we might have to move on to a different topic so that you can add some more.
But these last two is important to ask because I want him to get off your case in Nevis.
Oh, okay.
You spoke about signing the document for the geothermal to be to move on in Nevis.
Yes.
During the campaign of the NIA, a question was asked why there was no observers, regional observers for the election, and the response came from the then Premier that he asked you for regional observers and you did not. He do not know what you did about that. You have anything to say on that to the people?
Well, I would have to see that response. I haven't heard it, I haven't seen it myself, but I would like to see it. So before I comment.
Okay, I'll get the clip and have it for you for the next one.
For
the next time around.
Right.
Moving on to the unfinished business in St. Kitts. Mr. PM, you know that there were some heavy issues that was taking place during the campaign. The hush puppy matter, the development bank matter, and other finances that seems to be having wings. Are you in a position to give us a quick update on this situation, at least the hush puppy matter and the missing, the hush puppy matter, the missing millions from the development bank, the patch up blue buildings on Wellington Road, and the what you call it, the solar farm. If you could give us something on those three, fine. If not, we understand.
Yes, no problem. With respect to the development bank, it's very troubling. And I would not speak to a lot of specifics other than to say that we carried out a forensic audit. No audit of the bank was done since 2018, and that was deliberately done to hide a lot of things in the development bank. We know that there is strong evidence that we are missing over 20-something plus million dollars in the first instance. And there are other improprieties that would have taken place in that bank. And we are saying that that should not have happened, will not happen again, and therefore we are going to take the measures that have to be taken, just like anything else. But the bank is sad. But I will say that we stabilize the bank. Let me say this. The bank is stabilized now to the point where we now have a small business loan there, and we are going to decrease student loan interest. That will not only affect Kittitian students, but individual students. These federal policies are affecting people across both islands. We are going to reduce student interest loan down to 5%. And this will help students significantly. There are a number of graduates at home who still will live with their parents because the interest rate is so high, their monthly payment is so high that they just can't move on. Some of them in the 30s, 40s, and just can't move on. And therefore, we are saying that we should reach out to those who need help. And these are people who may not have come from families with significant financial resources. And even some who come from families with financial resources, some of them might find it difficult. But this is to fundamentally help those who might have had limited financial resources. And in addition to that, those who are now seeking to go off will have an interest rate that is lower, and therefore that can facilitate the ability to get loans so that they can pursue their education. So this is very positive. So we're going to do more things with this development bank to show up the development bank and we establish it as a strong institution in St. Kitts and Nevis that responds to the need of our people. And so I'm happy that we were able to do that. And I want to thank the new board and acting CEO and their teams who have been working tremendously hard to stabilize it. You asked about another one with respect to the solar farm that is going through significant review at this point in time. Because whatever is done has to be done for the interest of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. And that is going to a significant review, and we will have a word of that. When it comes to the hush puppy, that was a sad undertaking, occurrence that took place. I wouldn't speak to it too much, again, because of where the matter is. So I would say only that was a sad occurrence that took place for our federation. So on those three matters, that is where we're at presently, and we are moving forward. But when it comes to us looking at issues of what we are facing nationally, we have significant, when we came in, water was a significant problem, water and energy. The country was lacking water and lacking energy. We have moved to make an agreement with Marriott to solve the water problem to some extent, not solve it, but improve it. And it has improved significantly. The people of Keyon and St. Peters and the people of Half Moon and Frigate Bay and so forth, they are seeing that they have access to more water. So we are making sure that people have water at least once per day. That is what we have stabilized in St. Kitts and Nevis. The other thing that we have looked at when it comes to energy, we bought new generators right away because the generators were old, and we were able to significantly improve another generator. I just got the word this week from the CEO, Mr. Jomo Williams, that we have received the pad from France and they're installing it, and that would give us another 6 megawatts. And when the summer months hit, when people will use more ACs and fans, we want to make sure that we have some redundancy so that the power is not going out every 2 minutes. We are also looking forward to building our desalination plant and to start drilling. We will start in the Keyon area, and we're also looking at our solar energy to look at options or ways to energy. So we are stabilizing our water problem, we are stabilizing our electricity generation problem so that we can have the necessary infrastructure on which to continue to develop our country. Because without water and energy, we really can't develop much. And with that, I would say, DJ, we are doing much, much more in our country. If you give me the opportunity, I just want to list out a number of critical things that we have achieved.
Before you list that, Mr. PM, I want you to stick to the desalination plant. I'm happy that you mentioned it.
Yes.
I was listening to Groundings yesterday with the big JL, Dr. Martin and Sam Kanda.
Yes.
And there was a caller that called in and said the Labour administration came in and made 2 desalination plant and a solar system or whatever, what they're doing about it. So I think that's something that you should address, because people are hearing these things and they're believing these things.
No problem. So the issue is with the UAE, United Arab Emirates. They had made an agreement to build 2 very small desalination plants of 30,000 gallons. That's not going to really make a significant dent in our system. So that is what they're talking about. We are talking about Labour plans to introduce desalination plant of up to 3 million gallons. 3 million gallons. And in addition to that, we will restart the drilling. Remember, the previous administration had stopped the drilling, and that hurt us significantly. And that is why we have no water. And that is why we had to go to Marriott. But we will resolve it. And as you said, we are doing a lot in a short time because water is essential. It is important. We have already came up with an agreement, an innovative agreement to really significantly deal with the problem so that people can have water at least once a day. And so they're talking about 2 small desalination plants. Nonetheless, I want to take this opportunity to thank the United Arab Emirates for what they're doing. But if we look at our budget, we put monies in there to help our water infrastructure. And that is why the minister, the Honorable Congressman, who has been doing an excellent job with water, said that we have enough money for all the pipings and all the infrastructure that will be needed to get the water from the ZELLE plant into people's home. And so we are happy to for that. So on that, and with respect to the solar plant, I'm saying that we are looking at the agreement and we will get the best agreement for our people. There's not a lack of persons who want to invest in solar. We are making sure that we get the best deal for our people here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And in addition to that, remember, we have signed on to geothermal, an issue that had been affecting us for many, many years in terms of not getting it significantly done. We have teamed up to make sure that the people of St. Kitts and Nevis can also benefit from solar energy. So I'm very, very happy with what we are doing. Hospitals, school, water, energy, infrastructure, healthcare. I mean, we have done so much. So when you give me the opportunity, and DJ, I know I gave you, we had some technical difficulties. The person's waiting on me for meetings. I've asked them to hold on, because I told you I am not going to lose the opportunity today. You told me I could die, and I told you I will create the time for you. So I'm not running from you. But
I understand. I appreciate it, Mr. PM.
Yes.
And I'm going to allow you to go, but I just cannot let you run without responding either way to the Blue Buildings and Wellington Road.
Okay.
Because I understand they was built without any authorization from NHC.
Yes. Correct. I cannot, there had been people bypass the rules and regulations, and that investigation is going on, and that is revealing some stuff that we really have to look at. You see, what we have found, DJ, is almost, as I said before, this government, the previous government administration, a lot of things were predicated and corrupt practices. And that is why we had to pass the good governance laws, so that when I have moved on and others have moved on, that those laws will protect the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. So we're not looking at this as isolated, because these instances were not isolated. These instances were actually created so that persons could have the opportunity to siphon millions and millions of dollars to their personal accounts. We know that. We have seen the evidence of that, and I wish for that never to happen to our people again. And that is why it was important to pass the good governance laws within 6 months. They had 7 years and didn't do it, and looking excuse after excuse after excuse. We did it in 6 months, and we are moving on to make sure we get it right. So we have been working significantly hard to create the type of system that would really benefit our people.
Thank you, Honorable PM. You're closing. I know you have a list of stuff to run today. Go ahead.
Yes. Good. Thank you very much. And I look forward to speaking to you again and your wonderful audience, and the tough questions that they have put forward, even their comments and support. As I've always said, that in a democracy, you have to expect people to ask questions. And if in a democracy and people are not asking questions, that is not a democracy. And if you're in a democracy and people don't disagree with you as the leader, that is not a democracy. And if you're in a democracy and people don't have comments, that is not a democracy. I may not agree with your comments, and sometimes the comments may not have all the information in it, but nonetheless, it is a democracy. I just ask people with their freedoms to be responsible, because with freedom, you have to have the other part of it, which is responsibility. But nonetheless, I welcome our democratic system, and I think this is the best system that we can have, and that is why we want to strengthen it. But I want to say, from we got into office, the first thing that I did on the 7th of August, and of course, along with the team, the excellent A-team, is that we took away all the COVID restrictions, because they were unnecessary. When I went to that meeting and asked for the scientific data, because as a practicing doctor then, I could interpret that data, I knew that there was no scientific basis to keep all those restrictions. Those were used for political reasons. And they could have lifted all those restrictions since May, and this was August. As a result, we are sluggish in our recovery in the tourism industry. We have done well since we got in the 8th, but the other countries went ahead of us because they had, of course, lifted their restrictions, and so persons were able to travel to them. That has hurt us significantly. Gratuitous payment, we paid for those who did not take the vaccine and lost their jobs. The honorarium paid to the frontline workers, those who in their normal course of work were necessarily exposed to the virus and could have died had it been a deadlier virus. We also paid a double salary to public servants who worked so hard during the pandemic to keep the government and country going. We also paid a dividend from the CBI because we had some inflows from that. And the dividend, you look at what the inflows are to determine if you can pay or not. We also had legislation against domestic violence, so women can now go to the magistrate court and get protection if they are being treated badly or they're suffering domestic violence. Before, they had to go to the high court and had a lawyer, and many women suffered because they couldn't get restraining orders, and we see what that resulted in. We are about to restart the one-to-one laptop programs. As I said, we have received the devices, some of the devices in the thousands already, and we'll continue to receive more. And I want to thank the Republic of China, Taiwan. Every child in St. Kitts should have access to a device and connection to the internet as well. We have to make sure. So this is a program fundamentally will benefit those families with that don't have a lot of resources, but our children will not be put at a disadvantage because their parents don't have money. We have to look at interregional travel. As you know, tomorrow is the inaugural flight of inter-Caribbean airlines. That has been a problem that was affecting us since COVID. And within 6-7 months, we are significantly going to attack that problem. It's not going to restore everything, but we are moving on it. We restored water to our people. At least people can have water once a day, and we are still working. We are still working on it. We purchased new generators, and we paid significantly another one to ensure that we can have more megawatts. We also made sure that children can go to college for free, because we want to remove the barriers again, so that children of poor families are not disadvantaged. And we also gave all students to UE economic costs, paying their tuition there. That is what we have done for them. And we are actually reducing the student loans so that persons' economic backgrounds will not impact on whether they can get an education or not. We have also moved on healthcare, a number of things with the MRI, the eye equipment, proposed site for the new hospital. We have also changed the law affecting nurses. We have brought in more doctors. We are bringing in more specialists to help to offer more services for our people. We have also gone to revamp our CBI program to make it stronger and stable, and to show to international partners that we are serious about, having it governed properly. And we have made significant positive changes with respect to the peace program. I want to say national security now has a new commissioner and his team. I want to congratulate him, Deputy Commissioner, and also all those who work in our security forces. They have been doing a good job, and they have their plan in place that they have been pursuing. And it has resulted, as you know, in more guns being recovered, bulletproof vests and so forth. And they are working to make sure that they keep our people safe. So I would say we have done, and these are just some of them, we have done significant work in a very short space of time. And so we'll continue to work. So as you can see now, DJ, we are settling in. Our programs are now rolling out, and the people are going to see what we are about. We are about to start our housing program, because we said we'll build a significant number of houses, and these houses must be climate smart so that they can deal with the climate changes that we are going through presently. So I would say, as I wrap up, that I want to thank my team, the team that came in, the team that inspired the country. They have been working very hard. I want to say to them to continue to work hard on behalf of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. And once the people see that you're working, the people, irrespective of all that is said, the people will always reward you. As I've said, I'm here for no more than 2 terms. I'm not seeking to hold on to power at all, and to allow people to start to develop themselves so that they can move into positions of leadership. Why I've decided that, I've come to recognize that you do your part and you move on. And I keep saying it so that, I protect myself from even my own words, so that people can say, remember, you kept saying only 2 terms. And I think we need to set something, like, at least for me, that is where I see myself going. But during that time, I want to make sure that the foundation of our country is such that whoever comes after can continue to build on it, just as I've built on those who went before me, DJ. So to our people, St. Kitts and Nevis, I want to thank you for your time and availing your Saturday afternoon to interact with us, to send in your comments, your questions, and so forth, so that we can share this information. Transparency is the sharing of information, DJ. And I'm happy that you allow me to use your platform today to share that information. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, we thank you, and the people online thanking you for making the time, Mr. PM. Yes. And I'm inviting you at your convenience to go and check the thread, because there is a lot of comments there, Mr. PM. There's a lot of questions.
Yes.
And folks are positive about you as a Prime Minister.
Thank you.
I know by extension, once you do what you're campaigning and what you have spoken about this afternoon, you would not have no problem. One comment that I pick up in the chat, and I'm going to endorse it, Mr. PM, even if it's when I'm there, is that the people are saying that coming to Nevis one event like the opening of Parliament and that kind of thing is not coming to Nevis to mingle with the divisions. They want to see you in a setting where the folks can come and have a conversation and shake your hand. So I'm gonna recommend to you on a Saturday afternoon or a Saturday morning when I'm there. We go across to Nevis, stop by Carbo and have some fish. Let them set up a meeting in the E.T. Willett Park where folks are invited to come and mingle with their prime minister. We
No
have
problem.
we have to give them that.
And I take your strong advice on that. And tell Cabo I eat fish.
He's listening. He's online.
And don't forget to send me his number.
Yeah, I'm going to send you his number. And Mr. PM, I would hope that you understand by the time you go back to this thread and look at the people, what they're saying is that how important it is for you and your team to come to the public and speak to the public. Because I am of the view, I know you guys campaign on many things, but I'm pretty sure when you got there, you realize that something's not going to be done that easily because of what you met. So you got to come back to the people. And update the people on what is taking place.
No
Mr. PM, I know that you give me so far 16 minutes overtime, but I'm going to ask you for 5 more because we want to pray for you in song. We want to pray for you in song, and I want you to listen to the lyrics of this song, Mr. PM.
I'll listen.
I'll make to the corner with a make it. And that's where they make the take it. Sure. I'll be there for sure. Don't worry. I'll miss that bam, 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 bam. It's not an easy road. How many see the glamour and the glitter, so them think I better rose. Me say, who feels it knows. Ooh, Lord, help me sustain these blows. I cry. It's not an easy road. How many see the glamour and the glitter, so them think I better rose. Me say, who feels it knows. Ooh, Lord, help me sustain. Why? From the minute of birth, you enter this earth. Obstacle there in your way to overcome first. Throughout every day, they seem to get worse. Oh my God, cast away this curse. Everybody are trying to make every end meet you anywhere that them endeavor. Lord God, you see, no matter what the world may say out the street, most of it so I won't accept defeat. Now I'm weary, dying dreary. We got no time to race your bank. I know that it's not an easy road. How many see the glamour and the glitter, so them think I better rose. Me say, who feels it knows. Ooh, Lord, help me sustain these blows. I cry, it's not an easy road. How many see the glamour and the glitter, so them think I better rose. Me say, who feels it knows. Ooh, Lord, help me sustain these blows. Find your eyes to see the sun. Who you love or who you don't. Trying to discredit the works you have done. Some not satisfied with the post of ally. From the scribes and Pharisees, you got to stay wide. Follow me headlands in on both sides. How we anticipate, pray for your slide. Righteousness prevail. It's down by my side. Leave a shoulder from the well. You're living to die. Help us all. Ababa Janai. Hold up my head and cry. I tell you now, it's not an easy road. Oh no, it's not an easy road. I did tell you, it's not an easy road. Oh no, it's not an easy road. Why? I've been traveling morning with such a heavy load. Now it's noon and I got not afford to put down my herd alongside the road. Oh, I've got to hold it. Yeah, I've got to humble myself like a child. Up on my face, I've got to put up a smile. I make up my mind just to have more mile. Oh God, I've got to, because I know that it's not an easy road. How many see the glamour and the glitter, so they think I better rose. Me say, who feels it knows. Ooh, Lord, help me sustain these blows. Once more, it's not an easy road. How many see the glamour and the glitter, so they think I better rose. Me say, who feels it knows. Ooh, Lord, help me sustain. Why? From the minute of birth, you enter this earth. Obstacle in your way to overcome first. Throughout every day, they seem to get worse. Oh my God, cast away this curse. Everybody are trying to make every end meet you anywhere that they endeavor. Lord God, you
Yeah, Honorable PM. When I tap your screen, open your mic. Tap your screen. Tap your screen to open the mic. Tap your screen.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, when I thought about the interview last night, I said, you know, this song would be a powerful song to end our conversation with, because I know when you get there, you guys realize it's not an easy road to repair the damage that you guys met there.
Right. But we are up to the task, and with the support of the people, we'll keep going and doing good for the people. Thank you very much, DJ. And I want to thank you for spending some time with me. And good afternoon to all of our people who joined us.
No problem. And before you leave, I want you to give compliments to your AG, Brother God Wilkin. He represented himself very well a couple of weeks ago. And I look forward to your guys' return to continue updating the good people of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Yes, thank you very much.
Until I lay to rest, Dr. Joe.
Yes.
Until I'm laid to rest, you have my support, all right?
Thank you.
Seems like they have been wasted, eh? Bueno. Just goes on to show. Till I'm laid to rest. Yes, always be depressed. There's no life in the West. I know the East is the best. All the propaganda them spread. Tongues will have to confess. Oh, I'm in bondage. Living is a mess. And I've got to rise up, alleviate the stress. No longer will I expose my weakness. Ego seek knowledge begins with humbleness. Work 7 to 7, yet me still penniless. For the food up on me table, master, God bless. All of it the needy and shelterless. Ethiopia await all prince and princess. Till I'm laid to rest. Yes, always be depressed. There's no life in the West. I know the East is the best. Yes, propaganda then spread. Tongues will have to confess. What could have been about the East? Everybody want a piece. Africa free Africans, Marcus Mosiah speak. Unification, no nobody feet. What are they when we walking down Redemption Street? Ban up our head, Bible in a hand, one and all. Make we try the promised land. Would you go down the Congo, stop in a Shashamane land? The city of Ferraris where Selassie come from. In Addis Ababa, then Botswana. Left Kenya, I end up in a Ghana. Oh, what a beauty, my eyesight behold. Holy Ethiopia, protect me from the cold. Till I'm laid to rest. Yes, always be depressed. There's no life in the West. I know the East is the best. All the propaganda then spread. Tongues will have to confess. Organize and centralize. Come as one. Oversee shall be so many more than sand. Some new one replenish. Pure and clean and for too long we been under this ban. Some a say for bag of riches and them empty hand. Once them is stupid and laugh all you can. Easier for a camel to enter through an eagle line than it is for a rich guy to enter in a Zion. Take it from Iman. So till I'm laid to rest. Yes, always be depressed. There's no living in the West. I know the East is the best. Lord, propaganda them spread. Tongues will have to confess. Oh, I'm in bondage. Living is a mess. And I've got to rise up, alleviate the stress. No longer will I expose my weakness. He who seek knowledge begins with humbleness. Work 7 to 7, yet me still penniless. For the food up on me table, master, God bless. All of it the needy and shelterless. Ethiopia await all prince and princess. Till I'm laid to rest. Yes, always be depressed. There's no life in the West. I know the East is the best. All the propaganda them spread. Tongues will have to confess. What could have been some about the East? Everybody want a piece. Africa free Africans, Marcus Mosiah speak. Unification, no nobody feet. What today we walking down Redemption Street. Ban up our head, Bible in a hand, one and all. Make we try the promised land. Would you go down a Congo and then Shashamane land? The city of Ferraris where Selassie come from. From Addis Ababa in a Botswana. Left Kenya, I end up in a Ghana. Oh, what a in me eyesight behold. Holy Ethiopia, protect me from the cold. Till I'm laid to rest, yes, always be depressed. There's no life in the West. I know the East is the best. All the propaganda them spread. Tongues will have to confess. Organize, centralize, come as one.
Yes, man, that's the man Buju Banton. I want to big up our Honorable Prime Minister there, the Honorable Terrence M, for taking the time out, giving me the extra time to have this candid conversation to sensitize you, the people of the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis, both locally, regionally, and regional and internationally. And you know, the A-team, the Labour administration, we got to give them credit for the work that has been done in 7 months compared to the damage that was done in 7 years. Again, I want to apologize for the late start earlier. When you're faced with technicalities, there are some things you just cannot overcome. But again, I want to thank my boy, the man, the big H, Elman Harley and Sister Paulette Harley for allowing me into their homes to get the internet feed. You know, without that juice cannot come to you. And you know, I've been through hills and valleys, and I want to big up some folks out there, kind of heal up everybody this evening because I'm running out of time. But you know, the regular stalwart that is online, we got Sister Cora Bennett. Good evening, how are you doing? Sister Naomi Ward, Hazel Claxton, Rosita Pontine, Sister Joseph Buchanan Glassford there, Sister Ann Farrell Smith. How about my sister there, Sister Cicely Brown, Sister Howell, Annette Morton and company there. Want to big up Visha there in Nevis. The man Slack, Mikey Slack, Sister Moffett Slack, Sister Patricia Bartlett, Sister Janice Daniel Hatch, Carbo and the crew there, Carbo's cuisine. Remember, every Saturday you can get your gold water and your fish and green banana and that end. Carbo, I do not know if you put your address and phone number in the chat as yet, but if you're listening, please put it in and put in your correct number this time. I want to make sure when the Prime Minister check the chat, he can get your information because he's going to come and check you to get some good fish and green banana. As long as you cook your green banana and fish the way that you did it for me, I know the PM will enjoy himself, him and his team, and he will be back. For all Univisions out there, I hope you all appreciate the Prime Minister coming and giving an update. We could not get through everything this evening. As a matter of fact, it's a whole book of questions I have here to ask the Prime Minister, which I have not even gotten through. My questions, never mind those 100 questions you guys have online. So I know the Prime Minister will come again, and he will continue to answer those questions because he will have access to the thread to read those questions, and I know him. He will follow up and do what he has to do. You know, like I said, I'm gonna drop one more track here. This one is called Hills and Valleys, and I want to big up my boy there, Brother Lord Ken, Sister Debbie. How about my engineer there, Brother Ike, the man Elvis Williams, aka King Freddie, the man Green, Sister Gwyneth Morrishaw, how are you doing? Everything good with you? How about Sister Kia, Beverly Morrishaw, my folks there in Tobago, Gloria Beard, Victor Beard, my girl there, Sister Melissa, how are you doing? How about Sister Deborah, Missionary Deborah Wallace, the man Roger Wallace, the man Donald, and Chanel, hope you guys are doing well. The man Tony Hendrickson, the man Alvan Brown, thanks for all of your support as usual. I want to big up my boy, the brother, Lincoln Hapson, aka the man DJ Rabuka. I wonder how you guys, the man EK, the man Curtis Cook, the Big Lice, Douglas Watley, Larry Vaughan. How about my brother there, Dwyer Astafan, the man Sam Conda, Ira McMahon, Dr. Martin. How are you guys doing? Hope all is well with you all there and your Anna. My lovely lady there, H.E. Dame, Sister Marcella Liebert, how are you doing? Sister Joan Matthews, how are you doing? Everything good with you? You know, I know some of you want to get a little more of Dr. Joe, but he had other engagements. I actually went an hour and a half late, so I really have to thank him for giving me that extra time to get something in this afternoon. But he will come again. He will come again. I also want to big up my boy there, Brother Garth Wilkin. How about the man, Brother, the Honorable former Prime Minister, Dr. Douglas, how are you doing? My Kudi in St. Paul's, how is everybody in the St. Paul's area? Sister DeFrancis, Sister Jennifer, everybody good? Sister Tracy Powell, Tracy Jeffords, my uncle there, Brother Joseph Emmanuel down at Garvey's estate. Remember, Garvey's have many services that you can use, whether you want to rent a room for the night, for the weekend, for a month, you want to have a wedding, birthday parties, you just want to go and take some pictures and hang out with Uncle. Just go and check him out, tell him DJ Morrishaw sent you. Don't forget my cousin Gloria, the owner of Smart Fit. There's one location there in Nevis in the mall. There's another location on Keon Street and 4th Street there, across from the Walwyn gas station. And the newly relocated store is right there in the old Simaco building on Central Street, right next to Skelec. Just tell Gloria that DJ Morrishaw sent you. Want to big up the man Sugars, the man Craig Challengers, the man Twinkie Catching, Maurice Louise, the man Mull, how are you guys doing? Mary, everybody good? I just want to drop this final track before I get into my closing with the unofficial national anthem of the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis, the late great, the man King Arrow. But before we go there, let's drop one more bujo for all your online viewers, even Jeffers and co. Sorry, I'm not able to call all these names tonight, but there's too many to call. The chat there is full with people. So instead of getting myself into trouble and I have to stay overtime just calling names, let me just drop this track and get out of here.
Whoa, whoa, la, hey, whoa, whoa, la. Only Rasta can liberate the people over hills and valleys too. Don't let them fool you. Don't believe for a minute that they are with you. Shall free the people over hills and valleys too. Don't let them fool you. Don't believe for a minute they don't like you. Why try to make I unhappy? Really, I don't know. If it was up to them, my friend, we would never see the sun or the snow. Through that mystical communication within, we keep on coming together. I love to see brothers and sisters looking out for one another. That's the way it should be, not contrary. Stop tearing down each other. Only Rasta free the people over hills and valleys too. Don't let them fool you. Don't believe 1 minute that they are with you. Shall free the people over hills and valleys too. Don't let them fool you. Don't believe for a minute that they are with you. Our drugs don't do. You're just behaving like they want you to, yeah. I say arrogance is much different from ignorance, and I know you feel the same way too. Many live this life without having a clue. No reason why they are so sad and blue. Places to go, so much things to do. Not a moment to reflect on the cycle of life, yeah. To free the people over hills and valleys too. Don't let them fool you. Don't believe for a minute that they are with you. To free the people over hills and valleys too. Don't let them fool you. Don't believe 1 minute they don't like you. It's hard, it's hard, it's hard, yeah. Make them know we want go home and we hard, it's hard, it's hard, it's hard. Let them know we want go home and we hard, it's hard, it's Rasta free the people over hills and valleys too. Don't let them fool you. Don't believe so when I hear that they are.
Yeah, the sounds of the man Buju Banton. On the rest, take care of the people, you know. Some of these politicians, those over there, Nevis, Baby Brantley and crew over there, trying to mislead the people. You know, I had those clips lined up for the PM this evening and stuff like that, but due to the time constraint, we had to ease up. But we're going to go into overdrive the next time around, my people. Don't worry, don't worry. We will have another opportunity to educate the masses out there who are trying to support a wrong. And trust me, this Honorable Prime Minister, the man, Honorable Dr. Terrence Michael Joe, he's a fair-minded guy, and he will do the necessary thing for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. So Nevis massive, just hold straight. Things will happen. You know, things will happen. I want to say good evening to my cousin there, Sister Stacia Bania, Sister Casilla Bania. How are you guys doing? How about the man Ken Bania and Sister Pamela Bania? Everything good with you all? I'm going to drop this track, the unofficial anthem of St. Kitts Nevis, so that I can get out of here. Yes, good evening, Gail. Good afternoon, Gail. How are you doing? It's just about 4:07 here in the afternoon, sometime after 5 in the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. The man Astrid Williams, Laura Williams, how are you guys doing? The man
country dying and never lend a helping hand. Would you see your children's future dwindling, creating much disillusion? Or would we watch on idly, disregarding our self-sufficiency? building a brand new nation. We move on together hand in hand. Rise, citizens, arise. The country is yours, all yours, still yours. Can your conscience be clear? Indulging corruption or misusing public office, being accused of unemployment and crimes, or disrupting a citizen's peace. Oh, my country in this harmony, separated politically. Hatred for a brother, cannot love each other. No, I say no, not at all. Citizens, let's unite and stand up for rights, all our lives and our lives. Let us reintegrate and correct our mistakes. Reunification, building a brand new nation. We'll move on together hand in hand. So arise, citizens, arise. The country is yours, all yours, still yours.
Yes, the sound of the late great, the King Arrow. I want to big up my boy there, Mr. Powell. The man scattered there at Island Purified Water in Newton Ground, St. Kitts there. That gentleman makes sure whenever I'm in the Federation, I stay hydrated. I want to big up him and his team for always checking out for DJ Morrishaw. Also my boy Swan, his wife and the kids. Always make sure that I get my fish and everything while I'm there. The man Ras, also the passing ground, Ras Mason. Make sure I get my bullfoot and cook up and whatever I need. The rest of them are always ready to take care of DJ Morrishaw. I want to big up Sister Mary Nolan. How are you doing? Also my boy there in the Frigate Bay area, the man Michael Clark and his wife and crew there over at the Jam Rock restaurant. Remember to support those guys, because whenever I'm in the Federation, these guys really look out for me and my team. Also Brother Marshall's there up the hill there from the roundabout in Frigate Bay. Lovely food on the island. I think you get some of your best food out of Marshall's and Jam Rock. So make sure you support those guys. In the meantime and between time, gotta call it evening. Look forward to coming back and nicing up the place for you again next Wednesday. Now, I know some of you had a little misunderstanding about Brother Carlisle Powell and Brother Kelvin Daly joining me last Wednesday. I must say this Wednesday, but it will be Wednesday coming. I'm going to be joined by Brother Carlisle Powell and Kelvin Daly. I do not know if Tulu have access to Zoom, but I'm going to send that invitation to Brother Tulu as well, because these three gentlemen, I think they make a great contribution to the development of Nevis and more so St. Kitts Nevis. I also waiting for an appointment with Brother Joseph Parry. I know he's back in the island of Nevis from his medical assessment, whatever he was doing overseas. I know he's back. I look forward to speaking with him. Sister Hazel Bandy Williams is still missing in action. I'm waiting for her to have a conversation. I also would like to speak to my boy there, former Honorable Foreign Minister there, the man, Patrice Nisbet. You know, it'll be nice talking to these guys about what's happening there in the island of Nevis. I want to say good evening to Sister D. I hope everything went well with you there in Nevis. I look forward to you coming back soon. In the meantime and between time, God's blessings on everyone. Once again, thanks to the Harleys for accommodating me here at their residence this afternoon. And it was lovely chatting with our Honorable Prime Minister there, the Honorable Dr. Terrence Michael Joe. Have a great weekend, everyone.